Hi, I'm Evan Pantazi. There was a person that just recently said, well, if you look into all these katas and you try to pick the Kyusho out of all these katas or martial arts styles like the jiu-jitsu or the grappling or Kali or whatever you're doing, if you're spreading yourself all over the place with all these martial arts, how do you become a master? And there's that old expression, jack of all trades, master of none. However, there is one common denominator, and that's Kyusho, okay? When I first started with the Kyusho, I took it devoid of the style because I was so fascinated with the mechanisms and the understanding of the human anatomy and how it affected the physiology and functionality of the person's body. So I took it and I just started playing with it in random patterns. What I did was I first got one target, okay, and I worked on it for a long period of time. And you've probably heard this story before anyway. So I took it and I worked it for a long period of time. Well, I put it into my sparring, my ground fighting, my jiu-jitsu, my katas, you name it, I put it in there, okay, and it was my main focus. And it was kind of funny because every set technique that we had in the school, every kata, everything went to that one target. Since my mind was there, my body naturally went there. And then I started formulating the correct hand positions that I would need to get that target at that position. All right, and then all of a sudden I discovered the Bobishi and the 6G hands, and there were the hands. They were the positions. Those were the ones, those were the keys that unlocked the Kyusho for me. However, what happened was I didn't try to put Kyusho into my martial arts. I put martial arts into my Kyusho. My Kyusho evolved naturally, spontaneously, organically. And what happened is now I'm seeing, since I've developed that way, the organic way, now I can see how it fits into any style. You know, it wasn't that I tried to put it into one kata. It's that the one kata evolved with that Kyusho understanding. And in fact, I did a long time ago, back in the 1990s. I don't know what the date was. You know, it was in my first school, so that was a long time ago. But I did 3 targets out of a Nahanchi Shodan, and we broke down the Nahanchi Shodan. But that didn't come from the kata. Okay, the target came first. And what happened was I was looking at I was doing the study on the targets, and it was like the 3 targets or the 3 angles that we can strike up and through here into the facial nerve and the neck nerves. And I was looking at that, and I was working with that, and I was doing it in my sparring, the grappling, the jiu-jitsu, everything I was doing, I was putting it into. Okay, and even as I was doing, I had just started a little bit of Aikido back then, and I never made a black belt in Aikido. I studied it for a little bit of time, but the only guy good enough that I could find was like 3-hour drive from me, so I was doing that once a week for a very short time, months, and then I just let that go. But everything I was doing with that Aikido, I was seeing these targets. Okay, and everything I did with everything, I saw these targets. And then all of a sudden, it came to me that everything that I was doing when I was doing a Nahanchi Shodan went to that area. And it was just like a revelation for me. So again, I didn't put my Kyusho into my martial arts. I put my martial arts into my Kyusho. And that's why I'm not feeling like that old expression, jack of all trades, master of none, because I'm focused totally on Kyusho. And it just seems to work into any martial art. Once you get the idea of the anatomy and the physiology and the functionality of the body, doesn't matter what vehicle you use. You could come up with your own hand tools or your own tools. For me, the 6 hands from the Bobishi, they work just perfectly. And And that's why I took a liking to the Uichiru. And that's because those hands were so prominent. That's why the Wing Chun. I love to study the Wing Chun because the hands are actually in there. Okay, it's been stripped out, modernized. Even the Shotokan. If you look at the old pictures of Gichin Funakoshi as an example, in Hengetsu, there's a movement where the hands switch and then this hand turns over. Now, most people will do that as like a ridge hand and shuto type of a chop, okay, and then turn this into a chopping action. You look at Gichin Funakoshi, and that the single blade of grass hand is what he's using, okay? So there's a completely different meaning than striking that we're missing, okay? Again, you can see these things when you start getting more involved in the Kyusho rather than the martial art aspect of it, and then just let it evolve into your martial arts. And once that natural process starts kicking in for you, there's no way you can stop Kyusho from being everywhere. So again, I'm mastering or trying to master my Kyusho. Okay, the martial arts are coming along with it for the ride. So that's the focus. And again, I caution people. I've cautioned people before. I've had many blogs on my website and prior YouTube videos here. Do not put Kyusho in your martial arts. Put your martial arts in Kyusho. That's the real way to learn. That's the fastest way to learn, and it'll develop your personal style compared to someone else's personal style they're trying to push and inflict on you. All right? Take everything from whatever people say because it's working for them. That's great. Listen to it, learn it, play with it. But eventually, you have to develop your own spontaneous abilities and skills in targeting and working the martial aspects. So if you have a focus on the weaknesses of the other person's body, you will find your natural strengths in getting to those. So again, don't put Kyusho in your martial arts, put your martial arts in your Kyusho. Thanks for watching.